Welcome to Ty and Rye, the Finance Guys Market Mini Report, a short podcast that updates you on the past week's important topics and trends. Remember, this is not an offer to sell, and past performance does not guarantee future returns. Here are Ty Hansen and Ryan Robertson.
Hello and welcome to another Market Mini for the week ending October 29th. Happy Halloween to everybody, and hope you all have a good weekend ahead of you with lots of fun with kids, grandkids, doing some trick-or-treating. So definitely not a scary week in the markets. It's actually been a great month of recovery. So really, really happy where things are at. In fact, on the month, tech ended up, basically the market, tech, and Dow were all above 6% on the month, about 6 to 7%. So really great month, good recovery from September's woes. So it's good. The biggest winner this last week, obviously, tech was up about 1.8%. So really, really good week. Things are looking good. In fact, I've had a lot of conversations this last week. Actually, the last couple of weeks, had a lot of conversations with people about where are we going, what's going on in the market. People really concerned with things they're hearing, the infrastructure bill, all these things going on. People are just nervous. Inflation. So I will state it again, right? That things definitely have, there's definitely merit to some of these concerns, right? I definitely feel like, they're warranted. The one thing I will say, however, is as we look at, really what's going on, I always like to try and cut through the noise and really look at, okay, what am I really seeing in the hard data, right? And the thing with that type of data is it's pretty boring, right? And that's what it comes down to, is it just doesn't sound super, super glitzy or glamorous. So, but just a few pieces of information. So, the Consumer Confidence Index came out this last week. And basically, that's just kind of a measurement of what do, ma and pa, on Main Street think about the market, things like that. And there's some data that goes into it. Anyways, last month it was 109 was the ranking. It was projected to be 108. So the idea was we were projecting for lower consumer confidence, but it actually came out almost 114. So well above projection and well above the last month's numbers. So the really what that gets at is that the consumer is starting to feel a little more confident. And I think the reason for that, obviously, we see that kind of that trend or that idea. October, like I said, October was a great month. So you start to see people feel a little more confident in their portfolios. But I really just, again, I want to stress that it's, as we start to look at the fundamental data, things are really, really good. Unemployment numbers are coming down. We're seeing the new home sales, things like that. Those numbers are increasing. The numbers that we want to see increase are increasing. The numbers we want to see decrease are decreasing, with one exception. I do want to talk about that for a quick second. So GDP, we were expected, which, gross domestic product, right? What are we outputting? And GDP was estimated was supposed to be right around 2.8%, but it came in under right at 2%. Now, GDP, one thing I will say is GDP is coming down because we're still kind of coming out of that, some of that COVID production, some of the supply chain issues we're having. That's expected. Now, 2% is a little bit lower for sure than what we were expecting. But as we look at what's projecting forward, we really are starting to see that the GDP numbers, because again, they spiked after COVID. We saw GDP, we saw a lot of spending, things like that. People really kind of got back into that spending mode after things were shut down. And we're kind of seeing that tail end as it's tapering off. My prediction, my projections as I look at data is we'll see that GDP number, come back up and kind of stabilize a little bit more. So again, are there still concerns out there? Absolutely. But yeah, as we're looking at the fundamental data, things are still decent, right? I've had a lot of conversations about, hey, is there any steam left in this market? The short answer is I believe so, right? Now, as always, I reserve the right to make, changes to my thoughts and we can revise that accordingly. But as of this minute, as I'm looking at the data that we're forecasting and as we're looking over the next few months, I am optimistic that we will continue to see a little bit more steam. So in fact, if anything, the September sell-off really brought some of the market values to, true book values and price to earnings ratios, some of those value calculations we looked at, it really brought those more in line. So again, that's my thought, right? Market's a great week last week, and looks like we're poised to have a good run next week as well. So as always, appreciate the listen. And I do apologize. I got to apologize for missing last week. I ended up out of town for a couple extra days and wasn't able to get the Market Mini done. So I apologize for that. So we appreciate it as always, the listen. Check us out, tyandrye.com. And hope everybody enjoys Halloween. And yeah, have a lovely weekend. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Ty and Rye, the Finance Guys. This is our weekly Market Mini Report. New episodes of this will be put out every Monday, so make sure you don't miss those. Also, the longer podcasts, more in-depth discussions, those will drop every Saturday. So subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Ty and Rye Podcast. That way you don't miss any new episodes. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you have a great week.